Welcome back to the Team to Be Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Zamir. For today's episode, I got a special guest joining us. I got Trent. You can find him at the Miami Heat Network. Trent, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. It's unfortunate that the Heat don't play for another 4 days. I don't know who made the scheduling like this, but outside of that, man, I'm doing good.
I heard, I think it was like a 5 Reasons episode that Shakira was supposed to be playing a concert there at the arena. So that's why they were taking a few extra days between the games. And apparently she's not going to perform there because she had to go to a bigger arena. So we could blame Shakira and that planning, which is insane. 5 days of not a single basketball game for the Miami Heat. That's kind of wild. But hey, we're always hurt, and Jaime's hurt, so that's good for Jaime. Give him some rest. Who else is hurt? Is there anybody else hurt? I don't even know, but I'm sure.
Well, Jimmy's not hurt, but it always helps to heal a body that's a little bit older.
Yeah, him and Kevin Love can enjoy this time off for the next 5 days. But since there's not a lot to talk about, I do want to talk about some murmurs and like whispers and rumors that Joel Embiid possibly could be on the trade block. So we know the Sixers are off to a horrible start, 2-11. Embiid's only played 3 games, so like granted his stats are going to look like shit because he just came back off an injury. He's 30 years old. He's injury prone. The older you get, the harder it is to recover, so it's not going to look good for him. He'll ramp up, I'm sure, and be fine and get 50 free throws a game and eventually get up to like that 28, 29 points per game. But also, Maxey just got hurt. Paul George has missed some games. Their big three has not played a single game. And so on Twitter, NBA Central was basically saying the Pacers are the favorite, according to Bovada, to land Joel Embiid. The Heat are the fifth favorite to land Joel Embiid. And there's also been some articles about Joel Embiid talking about after the loss to the Heat that he thinks Jimmy Butler is a top 5 best player or maybe the best player in the NBA. Like we know he loves Jimmy. So there's some speculation there. Hey, maybe if the Sixers are, you know, not even in the play-in, if they don't make the playoffs outright, could they trade Joel Embiid? And if that's the case, do you think it makes sense for the Miami Heat to inquire about Joel Embiid and trade to get Embiid on this roster? What do you think about that?
You know, I don't want Joel Embiid on my team, man. That dude is not. I'm all set with that. He's Tyrese Maxey exposed them already, pretty much saying that he's late to meetings, he's late to activities. That's not a leader, and we don't need that type of guy. But not only that, he's always injured. So it's just like, so you're not a leader. You're always injured. You miss the most important time, and you're also on a big contract. And also, we already got Bam Adebayo. So how is that going to work? Bam Adebayo and Joe Embiid, like how is that going to work, right? I will say you're offensively, you're better than Joel. I mean, you're better than Bam Adebayo, of course. Like we get that. You're the second best big when you're healthy and when you're playing good basketball. But keyword is when you're healthy, and you're never healthy. And so I just don't like the attitude that he has this year, and the fact that he can't play back-to-back games. Like the Miami Heat need their star guys out there, and so when he's missing games, we just got to rely a lot on Tyler Hero, and that's fine. His usage is going to be higher like this year. But then that means we got to worry about a little bit for Tyler Hero because injuries may come with him. Let's be honest, Tyler Hero's fragile too. The more he plays, the more he has a lot more usage, he can possibly get injured too. And I'm hoping not, because this will be really, really bad. But you got to think about things like that. And then also, like, what are we trading? Are we trading Kalel Ware? Are we trading a Jovic? And I'm fine with a Jovic, but do we have to they're going to ask for a Tyler Hero, and I'm not doing it. Maybe if you asked me last year, maybe, but I'm just not doing it
You're
this
not
year.
trading, you're not trading Tyler Hero for anybody or for just part of the
No,
Joel Embiid trade?
for this Joe Embiid trade.
Well, first off, we have to trade Bam. So there's no world where we can keep Bam. He's making 60 million based on his extension. Or in the first year is like 55, but he did sign a 3-year, $192 million max extension. So to match those numbers, we're going to need to trade Bam, Terry Rozier, throw in a young piece like you said, a Kalel, a Jovic. Jovic, I don't hate Jovic, but you could take Jovic. Jovic is fine. He's a role player. Even Jaime, we're talking about him coming out having a breakout season. Like Jaime's great, but he's a role player. Like he doesn't he's only in his second year, so Of course, he's playing within the confines of his role off the bench, but does he look like he's a guy that's going to like evolve into like a number 1 or 2 type player? Probably not. So they're still going to ask for those types of solid role players. So we have to give up a lot. He's 30 years old and he's never played more than 68 games in his career. So like what makes you think at age 33, 34, 35 there's going to be a world where he's actually going to play more games? Like that's the biggest thing for me. Like you asked me this 2 seasons ago, sure. Like when he was averaging 33 points per game, when he's like an MVP type caliber player playing 67, 66 games, that's fine because we had Jimmy Butler, because we had Tyler Hero, we had the depth. I would have said yes, but no, hell no. He doesn't have the motor, like you said. He doesn't have the passion, the leadership, and he's always hurt and the contract. Gilbert Arenas, though, was on his podcast basically saying if he does go anywhere, he needs to go to Miami because Pat Riley can fix him because of those attitude issues and leadership issues. So he's basically saying go there for 2 to 3 years. And if there's any organization that could fix a bum, restart their career, is the Miami Heat, right? So that could be a possibility. But no, he's just a 35-year-old Jimmy Butler and a 30-year-old gimpy Joel Embiid, I don't think is going to move the needle. So I think that's out of the question. But let me ask you this about the Sixers, since we're on that topic. 2-11. No one saw them starting this bad, even with the injuries, because you still had Maxey and Paul George playing together. You still added good pieces like Drummond, and you got McCain. We talked about on your channel, right? A up and coming rookie. You still have Oubre and Eric Gordon. You have a ton of pieces. Like, how the hell are they 2-11? Because they still had a good record last year, and Joel Embiid only played 39 games. Like, I don't understand it. Do you think they're cooked, or do you think they'll still be at least like a play-in team?
Well, the problem is they're cooked because a lot of the players that they picked up are washed. Eric Gordon's washed. Kyle Lowry's washed. Andre Drummond is playing a different role when he's a backup big. When they put him at the starter, when Joel was out, now he's going back to backup minutes, which is fine, but he just doesn't look that well. And then now you got to play Jared McCain, and they were refusing to play Jared McCain even when Tyrese Maxey was playing. So it's like, what are they going to do when Maxey comes back? Is McCain locked in the rotation? I think Nick Nurse is not doing great as a head coach so far this season, but it also is kind of hard, and I'll give him a little kind of slack a little bit because when you're missing 3 your star players each different time of this part of the season, especially early, it's hard to work these rotations. So, and another thing is that Paul George is washed. Paul George looked absolutely horrible. He still looks horrible. I'm hearing him complain on the podcast. The Lakers were doubling me, and they're doing their job. That's what they're supposed to do. If you're the best,
he's not a superstar. He's an all-star. So it's like,
he's like, you just
handle double teams.
Let me ball. I'm on a minute restriction, bro. Like, are you crazy?
He said that?
Yeah, he said that on a podcast. He literally says, I was mad that the Lakers doubled me. I'm on a minute restriction. I just want to play basketball. What? Like, that's the type of, I just don't, I'm not a big fan of Paul George, to be honest with you. He's awful. And then Joel Embiid now is back, and he looks bad too. And so, like, you can't bench Joel because Joel is your franchise guy with Maxey and stuff like that. So it's tough. They're dealing with a lot over there. Do they turn it around? Maybe. But I think the Bucks have a better chance of being in the playoffs as a top 6 than the 76ers. I think the 76ers are going to be top 10.
Yeah, it sucks. Now this is Maxey's team now. So he's balling. He's only played 7 games. Paul George has only played 7. And Joel Embiid has only played 3. So I'll give them some slack. But they've lost some bad games that they should have won when Maxey was playing those 7. When Paul George was playing those 7. When Embiid and Paul George were playing together against the Miami Heat and blew a 19-point lead. Like, what's his name? McCain was cooking us in that first half, right? We slowed them down in the second half. We slowed down the whole Sixers team. But, like, even though they all haven't played together, and that's a huge reason why, plus the chemistry of obviously adding a player like Paul George into the mix, but not a good look to be 2-11. Like, they should be like the Heat, kind of like 6-7, like 5-8. You know what I mean? They should be like 5-8 at worst, 6 and whatever it is. Like, you can't have 2 wins. They're the worst team standings wise in the East, maybe in the NBA. I'm sure probably in the NBA. Yeah, in the NBA, they're the worst team in the NBA. The Utah Jazz are 3-11 because the West obviously is a better conference right now than the East, right? The East is kind of weak, so that's kind of pathetic, and I love it. So I screw Boston, screw the Sixers, screw the Knicks. Probably, I don't know. I probably go Knicks, Boston, Sixers in that order, in my opinion, of who I hate more. But they're still in the top three of the teams I hate. So no to Joel Embiid for me as well. I agree with you on that, and I don't think they're cooked. I think they still can. They'll still be a play-in fighting team. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to be just the 10th seed to make it, which is, you know, not that difficult to do. So I think they can get back to like the 8-9 range. It's just going to take a lot. They just need to go on like a nice, 6-game type of winning streak, and it is possible because Maxey is a really good player and he's averaging 28 points per game. Joel Embiid will get right. We know that, even though he's annoying and not a great leader, but we'll see. But anyway, that's all I have for this episode. Thanks for hopping on, Trent. Don't forget to hit up Trent's channel, Miami Heat Network, and subscribe to his channel. And then I'm on my path to 2K. I don't know how. I'm still not at 2K. So if you guys can, Heat Nation, sub to my channel so I can get there. I'd really appreciate it. We'll be back soon for some roundtables. We've been MIA, and this is probably the best week to do it since the Miami Heat don't play till Sunday. So hopefully tomorrow or Friday we can try to get an episode for y'all with just the original roundtable, I think, right? Versus always having a guest. So anyway,
Yep.
thanks for hopping on, Trent. Appreciate
No
it.
doubt.